Hello, everybody. Today I'm going over who I think the next champ will be in every division. Now, honestly speaking, this is a pretty tough choice to make for each division, so give me a break. If you guys totally disagree with me, then comment what you would put. Or if you do agree and it's all happy, then leave a like and maybe subscribe so I can make more. But with that being said, let's just get into it. Okay, so I'm just gonna start from the lightest to heaviest. So I'm gonna start with flyweight. Now, flyweight is kind of a pain in the ass to predict because, well, Pantoja's the champ, and realistically, is anybody actually got a chance of beating him? I don't think so. So what I think will happen is Pantoja, he's probably going to defend it a few more times. Like, if he fights Van in December, if we're being honest here, right, everyone loves Joshua Van. You know, he's exciting, young guy. The run he's on is crazy because there's barely been a run. And he's already getting a shot. But if we're being honest, Pantoja's going to show levels. And Van he's just not going to have enough right now to beat someone like Pantoja. So what I think is going to happen is he will retire, and after he's retired, Joshua Van is going to get that strap. He can't beat Pantoja now, but if Pantoja's gone, I think he could beat pretty much everyone else. Moreno's going to retire soon. Kai Kara is actually terrible. Jesus, don't even get me started on him. And Amir Albazi, he sucks. And Royval, he was the number one contender. Already beat guys like Moreno and Kai and stuff. And if Joshua Van's already beat him, so it's not like, well, if he rematched him, it'd probably still go the same way. But it's not like he will be fighting him again anytime soon, unless it was maybe a number one contender fight, or well, a vacant belt fight, even not number one contender. Because I mean, Joshua Van could very well be like Pantoja again and just long reigning. Because I mean, like, Pantoja, he's had a great run, but he's getting up there in age. So I think he'll be gone soon. Somebody else is gonna have to get the belt, and I think the next that'll make sense is that of Joshua Van. Okay, on that note, let's go to the bantamweight division. This is basically the same thing. I mean, Merab, who is gonna beat Merab? He's literally already beat most of the guys in the top 15 or top 10 even, and the way he's doing it, he's just running through everyone. He just finished Sean O'Malley. Now he's fighting Corey Sanhagen. See, with a guy like Sanhagen, it was just kind of the same with O'Malley. There's always a chance for him to get that kind of flip KO, big crazy thing. But if we're being real, that is a slim chance. I mean, because personally, I think O'Malley's a better striker than Corey. And look what happened to him. I know it's kind of like sort of different styles, because O'Malley's more of like a sniper, sorry, and counter striker. Whereas Corey's like super technical and does like the flying knees and shit. They barely land. Like, I don't know why everyone talks about that. He landed it on who was that? Frankie Edgar. It was Frankie Edgar. But besides that, I mean, like, he's not gonna chin Merab with that. He is smaller though, so you never know. There's a chance, but I don't think so. So that's a free title defense, and then I mean, like, one of his closest fights was Umar. Already beat Umar. You know, he beat Yan and stuff. But like, in that case, I think it's the same kind of thing. You know, he beats a few more guys. He's getting older as well. Like, I don't think he'll be around for that much longer. So I think Merab will retire on the top of the division, or you never know. There's a chance he moves up, because I mean, who would he have to? He'd have to fight Volk. I think he'd lose that, but the trajectory of that division could change by the time he goes up. So we'd see about that. But in the bantamweight division's case, let's just say he retires or leaves it, vacates the belt. I think next in line is Umar. Umar had, like I said a minute ago, he had one of the closest fights Merab's had for the first 3 rounds at least. Because then Merab did his thing, started to take over. But considering how young Umar is, I don't know how young he is, but I mean he's gonna be what, 20 something, 20 less than 25, I would think. And he already looks that good, like championship level. I think he's got a future at the top. And he already beat Corey. Corey's fighting Merab now. Strange little kind of the MMA math shows. If Merab beat Umar, but Umar beat Corey, then it's a weird thing. But I think Umar, he's looked good against Merab. He looks good. He looked good against Corey, Barcelos, guys like that. And I think a big point is the fact that Merab just dominates literally everyone he's been fighting. But Umar had a competitive fight with him for a while. Until he, started fumbling it and getting tossed around. But still. So I think he's only going to develop his skills, get better. Especially with the guys that he trains with, like Khabib and Islam and shit. So, yeah, I think future will be bright for Umar. And we just got to see what happens. Now for Mr. Volkanovski, Alexander Volkanovski. I think after the Topuria fight, it didn't look promising because he just got finished back to back. Well, because he finished by Makhachev as well. But I think after that, there's a lot of worry with Volk. I was worried, like I don't want to see him come back, especially against a guy like Lopez, because of the power and like just blockheadedness of Lopez. But Volk showed a vintage Volkanovski in that fight. I think he looked amazing. And I think, well, who's he gonna fight next? Because that could realistically be like the deciding factor on who is the next champion in that division. Because let's say fights Yair next, Yair Rodriguez. He's already beaten before. I think it would pretty much be the same thing. Maybe not a finish, but I think Volk would beat him again. And Evlev, I think a lot of people just see Evlev as like, like Russian. I don't think he even is Dagestani. I don't know if he is. I'll put that on screen. But yeah, like people just see that and think that he's automatically super good. He is good wrestling and stuff, but I think Volk's a really bad matchup for him. Volk's got amazing takedown defense. You see the fight against Makhachev, some of the scrambles and defending the takedowns was awesome. And he gave Makhachev his toughest fight, I would say. So I think he's a bad matchup for Movsar. If that was his next fight. So again, kind of free title defense. Same with Yair. But I've got a bad feeling that if he ends up fighting Gene Silva, but before he retires, then I don't think it'll end well. If we're being, realistic here, Gene Silva, I think he's going to dismantle Diego Lopez, because you see in that Volk fight, I know it's not to kind of take away any shine from Volk, but Lopez looked actually awful in that. Genuinely looked so bad, because he dropped him at the first round, but what really is that really that impressive? Because everybody thought Volk was going to be Chinny. He got Chin 2 times in a row. He took the time off, but he's still coming back against a guy with a lot of power. And he fumbled that. He dropped him, and then after that, it was like, well, what are you doing? because the rounds that followed, he just kept walking forward, marching on, eating that jab. Volk just picked him apart, and he just kept swinging big overhands and stuff, and doing his little grab at the neck, weird thing. So I think Gene Silva he's gonna make it look easy. This could age like milk. We'll see I'm sure that's September, the Noche fight night. By the way, that's so weird. That fight night, it's UFC Mexico, Noche, Independence Day, all that, but it's in Texas. I get there was that whole drama with the arena that was meant to be in Mexico. I don't know if it was in New Mexico or Mexico, but who knows. But it's in Texas. That seems a little weird. But yeah, I think if Lopez, if Silva beats Lopez, then he's most likely gonna get the next shot, unless Volk retires in that time. Like, say Volk just has a nice little split decision loss to Evloev, and he's like, alright, that's me done. Then, hopefully that would be the dream, because then he just retires, and then Evloev gets chinned by Gene Silva. But if they do Silva versus Volk, I think Silva's just going to be too much for him. He's too young, fast, too powerful. Yeah, so I think Gene Silva will be the next champ at featherweight, whether he beats Volk or it's once he's gone. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Right, now for the lightweight division, Ilia Topuria. See, this is another one. It's like, how am I supposed to predict this? Because the way he looks, the guy's just going to beat literally everyone. I mean, realistically, he's going to chin Paddy. I really hope that fight doesn't happen, because it's just pointless. Free title defense. And in my opinion, title defense or not, if you look at the quality of that, I don't think that is good for his legacy and like his, leaving a mark. Oh, I defended against Paddy Pimblett. Okay, bro. I think he would chin Gaethje pretty easily. Again, if Gaethje even gets a shot, he'll probably just retire, being all salty about it. But I think the Arman fight, that is kind of interesting because of how strong Arman is and the grappling. Because it's not kind of the same as Charles, where it's the jiu-jitsu and kind of the stuff. If you go into Charles' guard and things, I think Arman's going to shoot a lot more, and it's the wrestling that's the bigger factor. It's, like, the guy's so strong. I don't know how it would go if he gets a squeeze on him, but that's if it even gets to that. Honestly, I think it would just end with another Topuria KO, because it's the clip against, I can't even remember who he was fighting, but I'll put it up. It's the clip of Arman getting all stanky legged and wobbled by that guy. And I know it was a while ago. It wasn't that long ago, but it was a little while ago. Arman got actually chicken legged, or chicken dance, and he was all wobbling about. I think if Ilia had that opportunity, Arman wouldn't get let off the hook at all. So I think there's one man, a lightweight at least, because if Ilia moves up, then who knows if he beats Islam or even JDM, because Islam could leave. Islam could lose even. So you could be looking at Topuria versus JDM, but we'll have to see. So I think there is one man who, and people aren't ready for the conversation, that Max Holloway would beat Topuria at 155. I think the way, especially after the way he looked after the Dustin fight, then I think it's genuinely a totally different fight. And let's be real, that was one of that was Topuria's closest fight. Hands down, that was his closest fight, toughest fight. I'm sure it was like 13 minutes or something Max went with him, and he was winning the fight. You might say like, oh well, Josh Emmett went 25 minutes. Yeah, but Josh Emmett got his ass kicked. He got dropped like dozens of times, and he just stayed in there because he's a little ogre. But I think like Max put up the toughest fight for Topuria, and he looked great in that. Looks even better now at 155. He's not weight trained or anything from the cut. It's kind of his natural weight class now. And the way he just pieced up Gaethje, the way he just pieced up Dustin. I know it was his retirement fight. He's getting on in age and all that, whatever. But I mean, who does that to Dustin, bro? He's a marauder. Dustin, I think the last time Dustin got dropped by a punch, I seen a stat and it was like the last time Dustin got dropped by a punch was like 2016. Because obviously he got knocked out by the head kick by Gaethje, but again that was a kick, and he's not been dropped by a punch in a while, and Max just did it, so he's kind of got that lightweight power, and Dustin's got a decent chin. He gets in brawls and stuff in every fight, but you don't really see him get super, I don't know, like rocked and wobbled and stuff like that. Max wobbled him maybe 3 times because he dropped him twice. Oh, well, maybe 4 actually. He dropped him twice, and then there was the point he landed a shot, and Dustin did the chicken dance, kind of like shaking it off, going against the fence, and then right at the end of the fight, when Max pointed down, last 10 seconds, I think he rocked Dustin there because the way Dustin shot into the clinch, I don't know, it looked weird. It's like his hips were far back. But yeah, so just the way he looked now at lightweight, he's a whole different animal, man. So I think it would be a different fight, and he could beat Topuria. The power and the chin, and like Max's chin is kind of deteriorated a little bit. I don't think it'll be anywhere near as much as people might think. Like, oh, his chin's gone, it's been cracked, because Topuria's doing that to everybody. So, I don't think that's a crazy factor to look at. But the high kicks, Dustin was winging out. Not Dustin, sorry. Max was winging out high kicks against Dustin, and the body kicks. And Topuria, small guy, we've seen him get dropped with a big head kick by Jai Herbert. I think there's every chance Max could. Like, Max was chewing up his leg. The oblique kicks are nasty for Max these days. He's always landing those spinning back kicks. I think there's just a lot of stuff for Ilia that would, cause a problem, especially because Max is bigger now, so he's going to hit harder, and he's got more weight on him, but he still moves like a 145er. So I think it'd give him a lot of problems in a rematch. So yeah. Let's move on to the welterweight division. Jack Della Maddalena. JDM is in a weird spot because I didn't really expect him to be champ. Out of that kind of those top guys who are coming out now, or coming into the top of the division, guys like you got Morales, Shavkat, Ian Gary, Sean Brady, JDM, Buckley until he got smoked by Usman. But I didn't really think it would be JDM. But watching that fight with Bilal, he looked a lot better than I'd expected, because I know like everybody knows his boxing is good, but the Bilal fight, he pieced him up. I know Bilal, everybody doesn't like him, but Bilal dominated Leon, and if you used MMA math, Leon beat Usman, Bilal beat Leon, so I don't know, it seemed weird the way that he won against Bilal, and his takedown defense and things like that. Like, Bilal didn't shoot much, but if he did, JDM managed to defend most of it. And he's got this special technique. I don't even know how I would explain it, but it's when he's against the fence, just the way he defends that with his whizzer, and it's like a way that he reverses it. That would work against a guy like probably his next challenger, Islam Makhachev. I see at first when I thought about this, or when it kind of they were like, "Oh, this is gonna be happening," I thought Islam's gonna smoke him. But when you really think about it and you look at some of their fights, JDM is a bad matchup for Islam. I think like JDM is going to be a lot bigger than Islam. Like Islam's big for 155, but I don't think he'll be big at welterweight. Because all the welterweight, maybe Sean Brady's not that, but Sean Brady isn't really that small. It's just that everyone else is so big. Um, I I just think it'll be a different kind of ballpark up at welterweight. Like you look at some of the guys Islam was fighting as well. I know he fought Volk and Charles and whatever, but he's defending against Moicano. Like I just don't think JDM is gonna be as easy to beat as some of those guys. That being said, if it gets to the ground, you never know how strong Islam's still gonna be, or how much stronger, like in comparison, he'll be to guys like JDM at welterweight. Because Islam's strong. You look at his back when he's going for like his arm triangles and even the darts and stuff. It's like, damn, the muscles the guy's got is crazy. It's probably because he's all roided up. Well, he is. But I think him versus JDM, it's a tough fight. But if I'm being honest, that it's a tough one between Islam being the next champ or Mr. Sean Brady. I hate Sean Brady. I really don't like Sean Brady. I will be honest, right? One thing you guys will find out in a future video as well. I'm gonna make a hate video. I despise Leon Edwards with a passion. I really hate Leon. He is genuinely my least favorite fighter of all time. And I'll get into the reasons one day. Probably quite soon, actually. I'll make a video at some point. So that's the one reason I respect him. But besides that, Sean Brady he pisses me off so much. He thinks he could beat Bilal. He thinks he'd be the champ, even though Bilal rocked him and literally finished him. It's like, oh, Bilal's so boring. Oh, Bilal can't finish anyone in decision. Yeah, but he finished Sean Brady, so have that, mate. But yeah, I think Sean Brady could probably be the champ. So it's between them two. I'll put them both up because I don't know. Proper in-depth analysis for Sean Brady there. But yeah, so let's just move on. Middleweight division. Honestly, I like Dricus. At first, he kind of annoyed me because I like Dizzy, but I like Dricus. I like the way he dismantled Sean, especially the second fight, because he just. I think it was the first fight he made him cry, and then the second fight he actually destroyed him 50-45. They broke his nose. He made him. What is that actually? The photo. I'm pretty sure it might be like a little dog or something, with the really swollen little stupid face. I'll find the photo if I can. I'll put it up if I find it. But I like Dricus. I'd be happy if he beats Hamzat. Cool. But realistically, I don't know. I really don't know if he will. I think he's good at making it seem like he will. Like some of the talk he's doing, it's really making me think, damn, maybe Dricus is going to beat him, fraud check him, but there's also a good chance that Hamzat, it's like everyone starts to think, oh, maybe Dricus will beat him, Hamzat just comes in and starches him in one. That's the sad reality of it. But it's one of those fights. It's weird because Dricus does some stuff that's good, like subbing Izzy and the spinning back fist actually works sometimes. His question mark kick, stuff like that. But then he starts doing stuff like taking himself down and doing 20 punch combos where he misses every single shot. So he's a very weird fighter. Dricus is just one of those guys that, it's not as bad as Paulo, but it's kind of like Paulo Costa, where you think he's this, good guy, but then he comes in and he just has a shitter. That being said, Drickus does that. He might have a share, but then he still wins the fight somehow. It's like he was getting banged against Rob Whittaker, and then he like knocked him out with a jab. He's looking away, like looking down at the ground and stuff, and he catches him somehow. But yeah, so I think sometime or another, even if Drickus does beat Hamzat, eventually it's inevitable. You know, he is going to be the champ, and you know, you've got guys like Baralho. Baralho's fighting Imavov next, I'm pretty sure. But I like him. I like the fight nerds, obviously. You know, Gene Silva. I kind of made that out like I don't like him because he'll beat Volk. But no, I do like Gene Silva. But with Baralho, I kind of think he's overhyped, to be honest, just because he's part of the fighting nerds. Like, he's good, but I feel like if you're going that kind of toe-to-toe with Jared Cannonier, are you really going to beat guys like Hamzat and Imavov and things? And he also beat my boy Paul Craig, so you're a bum for that. So yeah, I think Imavov could be a fight, like a decent fight for Hamzat, but honestly, I think if he beats Drickus, then he's just gonna go on and dominate everybody, unless unless the Ritter pulls off a masterclass against Rob, and then somehow becomes like it's like the evolved, it's like Pokemon. You've got Drickus is just a basic one, and then RDR comes out and he's like the super version. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things you gotta wait and see. But for now, I will say Hamzat. He looks good against everyone. Not many people do that to Whittaker, so we'll see. But for the time being, I'll say Hamzat is the next champ at middleweight. Alright, moving on to the light heavyweight division. It's Big Ank's the champ right now. He's got the rematch set with Alex, so he could be set up to be the next champ. But if we're being real, you know, I've seen a lot of people who, you know, I like Alex Burr. I mean, I've got a t-shirt of the guy somewhere in my room. But I've seen a lot of people think that he will beat Ankalaev in the rematch, and in my opinion, I genuinely think it'll be the exact same as the last fight. Or even if, you know, Big Ank starts to feel himself, he maybe even finishes him against the fence or something, just some shitty TKO. So I'm not holding out a lot of hope that Alex can get it done, especially because of how the last fight went. Because it was just so, like, when I watched it the first time, I was rooting for Alex, so I thought it was maybe closer than it was, but it was kind of just, he didn't do a lot. He defended the takedowns, but then it seemed like he was gun shy on the feet, sort of like how Tyrone Woodley ended up being at a point in his career. So I think that'd just be the same. And but on that card, 320, there's another fight that would maybe give Ank his next contender, or well, it will, because it seems like a number one contender fight. I think if Khalil Roundtree beats Yuri, which is the fight that's on that card, then there's a chance, you know, because he looks good, but realistically, he's probably not going to beat Ankalaev if he gets the shot. But if Yuri Prohaska wins, he beats Ankalaev. I don't think that is crazy to say. I don't think that is because Yuri is not going to let Ank push him back the way that Alex did, right? Yuri ain't letting that happen. But the reason is because he's not going to overthink it like Alex did. Alex had this whole worry about the takedown. Bro, Yuri doesn't care. Yuri's an idiot. He's just going to charge forward and do his thing. And I think that is a bad matchup for Ank, because he's used to kind of fighting guys. Oh, I suppose Johnny Walker's an idiot, but he's shit. So I mean, he's about to get decimated by Ming Yang Zhang. Channel banner, he's on that, bro. He's coming. But nah, I think if Yuri gets in there with Ank, he's gonna press forward, and he's not gonna let Ank push him back, and then eventually he's just gonna rock Ank's shit, bro. Yuri is gonna be the next champ of light heavyweight. He's getting it back again, and let's just all pray that when that happens, he doesn't call out Alex or give Alex the shot again. But at the same time, I think it'll be fine because there's a good chance that if Alex loses, even if he wins, he might actually. But I think if he loses, he might end up just moving up to heavyweight and fight like, I don't know if they would give him Aspinall, but maybe like the loser of Almeida and Volkov, or maybe even the loser of like if Gan, well, I say if, when Gan loses to Aspinall, just do that fight or something. But yeah, so Yuri Prohaska is my lock for the next light heavyweight champ. Right, the last but not least, I suppose, maybe it's the least, but last but not least, we have a heavyweight and Tom Aspinall, right? I think this is a rough one because Aspinall is going to stay on top and he literally smokes everyone in the division. So, and it's even worse because he's not going to retire that soon. Like, see the other guys, and you know, you got Marab, Pantoja, Volk, unless Volk fights Silva. But those guys are kind of older, they're getting on, so they're going to retire, which gives a new champ, like a new fighter, the opportunity to become a champ. But Aspinall is like, he's still kind of young, so he's just gonna stick around for ages and nobody can do anything. So I think the only maybe hard matchup would be Almeida, but that's if Almeida gets past Volkov. What if Volkov shuts that down? And it's like, oh my god, Volkov beat Almeida, but then he's already lost to Aspinall, and he probably just lose again. That being said, though, he did look much better in his fight against Pavlovich. Yeah, and then he got robbed against Gan. That's crazy, actually. They said they would reward. They were like, oh, don't worry, we'll get him right, you know. And now they've given the guy that got the robbery win over him the title shot. A little bit weird there, Dana. But yeah, so realistically, nobody really beats Tom. But there is one man, the dark horse of the heavyweight division, a man feared by all, Shamil the Blob Gaziev. Bro, Shamil is coming for that belt. He's getting. Nah, I'm only joking. That would be awesome. Imagine Shamil title run. No. Honestly speaking, no ranked heavyweight right now is going to beat Aspinall. I can't think of anyone who would, unless they sign like, well, I can't remember his name. I'll see if I can find it. The guy from one, it's like Verhoeven or something. Verhoeven, he's defended it, like he's kept his title for like 3,000 days or something. Maybe if they sign him, he could beat Tom. But I don't know. Most likely no. So yeah, unless some fluky thing happens, like the first fight with Blades, then it seems as if Tom's just gonna stay on top forever. Which sucks, because this whole video is supposed to be about you know, the next champ, but nah, I've got no idea for that. Sorry. So yeah, that is the end of the video. Thank you for sticking around if you got to this point. Thank you for watching. If you did get to this point, then while you're here, why not like, leave a comment, and subscribe, please. But yeah, that is it from me. The time of recording this, I don't think this will be out before Whitaker versus Ritter. I doubt it. If it is, then cool, yeah. But actually, it might be. We'll see. But if not, my next my next video will be tomorrow. By the time this is posted, it'll be the day after the fight night. I'll leave that until the video comes out. for you guys to find out what it is. So yeah, thank you for watching.
But my hope